I'm Rain. If you're new to my channel, subscribe. In this video, I'll show you how I made these and how you can too. I started with these 6 models. To get them, I combined 2 models I found on Thingiverse, a bottle top and a combination of different perk designs. Check the links in the description and find them for yourselves on Thingiverse. I scaled them down and did a test print, and I found that the bottle top, when scaled down, the walls were too thin. To remedy this, I scaled a copy of itself down and placed it inside itself. This thickened the walls without changing the design. Next, I set them to print. I printed them out of white PLA at 190 degrees on the nozzle and 40 degrees on the build plate. Now, I remove the support material and then I give them all a light sand. This scuffs up the surface and allows the paint to stick better, and it also gives a better finish at the end. Now, remember I said the walls were quite thin? Well, my fix allowed them to print, but I wasn't taking any chances, so I added a line of super glue under each. This strengthens the model and makes sure if it was ever dropped, it wouldn't just break in two. Now, base coat of grey paint. This is going to be the primary undercolour for the model itself, or all the models. So just a thick coat once over and should be fine. Now, I'm starting on the actual colours of the perks themselves, of, I don't know, the shields I guess you call them. With these, I was as accurate as I could be with the colours I had, and some of them on a choice, I chose to go with brighter or bolder. This I knew because I'd be weathering them, I wanted the colour to come through a bit stronger, so that's why some of the colours aren't 100% accurate. I decided bolder and brighter is probably the better choice. Now, this is the tricky bit. To add white onto these models, you have to really be patient and have a steady hand. I went back and forth many times, just touching up that one bit and getting a slight bit of paint messed up and going back with the other colour. It's very much a back and forth thing until you're happy. In the end, I think I managed it, but it did take a bit back and forth, so don't be put off and just keep at it. You will get it. It takes a little while, but you will get there. Okay, now before we go any further, make sure you use a clear spray paint to coat these models. Before we want to put any weathering or dirt or paint or anything else on these models, make sure you spray paint them now. You don't want to mess up that paintwork that you've spent all that time getting just perfect, so clear coat and then move on. Next, we're going to add a bit of gold to the underside of these bottle tops and the edges. This is going to really start to sell the look of being a real bottle top. Just careful not to go overboard with the paint, less is more in this case. once you've coated all 6 with the gold underneath and on the edges, next it's time for weathering. To do this, I started underneath and a reasonably thick layer of watered down brown paint. Then I slowly added onto the top part, and I was very meticulous about where I placed this, and I wanted it to be different on each model and yet each one tell its own story. So always add a little bit more when weathering and then wipe off the excess. This allows the paint to really get into the grooves and really sell the used dirty look that you're going for. One challenge was to make sure that I kept the white coming through. Now it's quite difficult for that when it's supposed to be an aged weathered model, but the white is very crucial to the overall design, so it was a fine balance that you have to find. I think I managed it, but it does take a little bit of pre-thought before jumping in with the paint. Remember, put excess on, but make sure to wipe it off. This really sells the look. Now, to add a little more detail, I wanted to add some blood effect to some of these, as if they've been dropped in a pool of blood and mud and really dirtied and old. This isn't on all of them, because I didn't want to overpower them individually, especially with the red and the Juggernog one. But for some of the others I thought it was appropriate, it being zombies and that. So I was very careful as well how much paint I added and how much impact each one had. And I was careful about the placement as well. I wanted to make sure that each blood pattern was different and also on a different part. Because if these had been scattered bolt tops in a zombie apocalypse world, then they wouldn't have all fallen in the same blood pool and the same amount. So I wanted to be careful of that fact as well, and really helps bring all of them together as a set. I did add more underneath. The reason behind this was that if they'd fall face up, I think, so the underneath would be more bloody. Now, time for a final coat of clear spray paint. This seals the whole piece and protects all the paint underneath. Make sure not to forget to do underneath as well, as you don't want any paint rubbing off on anything you store these in. And there we go. This is where we're at, and I'm very pleased with how these turned out. They're very gritty. I think the blood splotches really add to these, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, be sure to subscribe, and yeah, I'll see ya.
Yeah.